Where the heck is he? It's time. He's late again.
Sorry, Matthias. Sorry.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Good to see you. Glad you made it.
Sorry, I need to get a little prop for today.
A prop?
Yeah.
What kind of prop? Or what are we...
Well, if I show it to you,
yeah.
you will instantly know what is the video about today. Okay, you ready?
Kind of. Ooh! Are we watching a video recorded in a dive fork
Yes,
housing?
we do.
A first! How exciting!
Yeah, really cool, yeah.
Hi and welcome back to the channel and another episode of reviewing your underwater films with the well-prepared Sebastian.
And the not prepared at all Matthias.
Like usual. But thanks for pointing that out.
You're welcome.
Well, I'm very excited that we are watching and reviewing the first ever video here on the channel that was created using a smartphone and the dive fork system. So, do you have any more information on the person who submitted the video?
Of course.
Of course.
Today's video is from Harald Lauber, and Harald is from Austria. And he wrote in his email that he was using an iPhone 13 Pro.
Nice.
In a obviously dive fork housing.
Cool.
And he was using two video lights, 3000 lumen each.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything about the manufacturer, but just two video lights. And what I personally find pretty cool, he used DaVinci Resolve to edit all the stuff.
Okay.
So yeah.
Nice. Cool. So that's all we know?
Yeah.
Do we know where the video was taken?
Yeah, I think it was on the Maldives. It's a in the Maldives.
In the Maldives.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so let's have a look and see what Harald was able to create using an iPhone and dive fork system.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Let's do this. That's a really cool shot.
Do ba 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 do boo do a boo ba do boo boo ba do a do ba do ba
I
do.
don't know how environmentally friendly that is. All right, thank you so much, Harald, for your submission and this very first video that was shot on a smartphone and the dive focus system that we are able to review within this series. And thank you for showing us the beauty of the Maldives underwater. It's every time a pleasure to see what this tiny little space on our planet has to offer in terms of underwater beauty.
Definitely. And if I may,
You may.
if you guys want to see the beauty of the Maldives, you have the chance to be there in 1 month time from today.
Exactly 1 month,
Exactly
right?
1 month.
Yeah.
We still have one male twin cabin to share.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, only one.
Only one.
So-
The last spot that's still available on our underwater video workshop that is going to be hosted on the beautiful MV Kiana, a very, very pretty and spacious, comfortable liveaboat that we'll be spending 11 nights on an extended tour, cruising the central atolls of the Maldives and concentrating on capturing that beauty in the best way we can.
Pretty cool.
If you're spontaneous enough and you want to join us, just send us an email to contact@matthiaslebo.com and we'll send you all the information, everything, and get you sorted to be able to join us on this epic adventure that is coming up very, very soon.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. All right, back to the video, but thank you for that
No worries.
nice little extra mention there. Back to the video. What I really enjoyed about your video, Harald, was the stability and the framing of the shots that we saw. I think you've done a really good job in capturing the moments that you've encountered underwater. I think your framing was really good in most occasions. And also, I thought that you did a very good job capturing it in a very stable and controlled way. I mean, probably the iPhone has something to do with that as well, having fairly good in-body stabilization, but you still need to keep your arms and your buoyancy controlled as well. So kudos for executing this in such a good way.
Yeah, now I'm totally impressed again about the iPhone autofocus.
Right.
I mean, I literally saw no shot where the focus was off or hunting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I oversaw one, but pretty cool. I mean, the mantis coming close up, sharp. Going away, sharp. Pretty cool. I mean,
Also, when the shark was coming into and swimming towards the camera, it tracked the focus, tracked the shark very, very nicely. So that's
pretty cool, powerful system. Yeah.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Now, what we need to talk about in terms of improvements from my side, let's talk first about the strength of such a system. And you could quite clearly see this on this video, that the strength of a smartphone in like a dive focus system is definitely the medium to close up range when we talk about the distance to your object. Because like Harald did with the two video lights that he was using, if he's, let's say, about 2 meters or so away from his object or closer, the lights will have a good enough effect on your object, reflecting back onto your lens and producing decent, nice looking, natural looking colors. And that's where these kind of systems really shine, using them with video lights, obviously. The problems, or it gets a little problematic when we go into the wide angle scenes. And you could clearly see this as well in this video, that the color is pretty much missing on the wide angle scenes. And this is primarily because no matter how powerful your lights are going to be, they won't really reach much further than a couple meters, because you need to keep in mind also that your lights, they need to be powerful enough to reach your object and also be reflected from your object through the water. So anything, even with very powerful lights, that's further away than 3, maybe 4 meters, it's just going to be out of reach. There's no way that you're going to get enough color information back onto your sensor. So you're much better off in that situation when you're shooting wide angle, in my opinion, is to turn your lights off and just use a red filter in front of your lens instead. That's going to help the camera sensor reproduce natural looking colors much, much better, and it's just going to give you a nicer, more natural looking image. And I don't know this, but I'm assuming that Harald wasn't using a red filter on the images. I mean, you can see that I think that you were trying to adjust for the lost color, but if there is no red color present in the captured image, it's really difficult to add that in post-production and still have a good looking image. So I think that's like my first tip, Harald, to you, using a red filter for your wide angle shots. That's going to give you just a nicer looking image, and it's going to fit together better with your medium and close-up shots there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. What else do we need to talk about? I've got something else written down here. Unless you have something you want to
go ahead.
slide in. Okay. Well, I feel like I'm talking a lot.
Yeah, always.
Like always. Another thing when we talk about wide angle shots is the distortion that can happen in the corners softness and distortion.
Oh, yeah.
And most of your shots, I think you were using the main camera lens to shoot, and it's not really a problem there. You can't really see anything there. It's fine. But as soon as you switch to your wide angle lens, and there was maybe half a dozen shots, I think, where you used your wide lens just to be closer to your object and still get the wide field of view. The problem there is that with the refraction of the light as it goes from air to water, it changes and it affects the corners mostly of your image because you have a flat port on your housing there. So you need like a sort of like a dome to compensate for that changed refraction. And that's where a wide angle conversion lens comes into play. It will probably not be able to completely eliminate it, but it will make it look much, much better. And I don't think, again, this is an assumption, I don't know this, but I don't think that, Harald, you were using a wide angle conversion lens on the shots that you were using your wide lens on the smartphone. I would strongly recommend, if you want to use your wide lens underwater, get yourself a wide angle conversion lens. Difox makes one that is doing the job pretty well, but there's also third-party lenses that you can use. But I would definitely use one of these lenses to just get that corner softness and the distortion, the blurriness in the corners, to minimize that as much as you can, right?
I agree.
What about transitions?
Well.
All right, I'll pass it on to you then.
No, the transitions between the single segments, like the fade to black.
It wasn't a fade, it was a hard cut.
Sorry, there was black in between.
Yes.
Like there was like cut, then black, and then. So like not a transition. Yeah, it is a transition,
a fade,
but
but
it's
technicalities.
Anyways, it was interrupting the whole thing, and I think it's maybe you could do it one time, but I think after the second time you start losing a little bit the intention of your audience, and you create the feeling of something new begins, which is actually happening. It is something new, but if you put it like one film, it's like it's interrupting the whole flow of the whole film. Of talking about the whole film, I personally think like 17 minutes is a bit too long. Well, not a bit. It's quite too long for I know for social media or publishing it or to show it to your friends, because it's hard to keep the attention.
Agree.
So there are different ways of getting your film shorter. I think Harald did as you said, a very good job of like framing and holding the camera steady. They're pretty nice shots, but sometimes they are just too long. Like you show the shark swimming towards you, cool shot, done. But then it keeps showing the footage, like shark is turning around, maybe a dive is coming in. It's like if you want to keep it interesting, focus on the really interesting parts.
Yeah.
And sometimes there were some shots in it like they were a little bit repetitive, and I don't want to say boring, but it maybe not the best shot. There are way better shots in which we saw. So like there are a few shots and it can just delete them. Don't include them in the entire film. Yeah. This will as well decrease the entire length.
Yeah, agree. Not an easy thing to do, and I'm here with you, Harald. I know how difficult it can be to decide on which shots you want to keep in and which ones should go, but it is an essential part of creating a film and editing something that you only really use the best possible shots that you have. Yeah. Exactly. What about instead of keeping this as an entire film, using the individual segments that you've already created and just making them into separate films that you can then, rather than having like one 17-minute long film that you share, you can have, I don't know, 4 or 5 different segments, and you can have like 5 films with the length of 3 minutes each to share. What about that?
I was already, I think, one step further, but I think you're totally right. Because I was already thinking about, okay, how can I put everything together and then create an entire video about my safari?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 minutes, whatever,
Yeah.
way shorter. And then like start telling a story. He's going into the water and he's coming out. So you got the pieces and then try to build up excitement, something like that. But I think your idea is the easier way and the better way to share, because like you have 5 pieces to share, and I think it's not complicated, but it's time consuming and it can be frustrating to try to fit everything in one single video. If you want to do single pieces, I think it's an easier approach.
Yeah.
Not a bad approach. It's just easier to get all the pieces together.
I think so too. And I mean, you can always, once you've sort of exported the individual films, right? The sequences or segments as individual films, you can always then go back and just pick, if you've got 5 films of 3 minutes each or 4 minutes each, then you can go back to those and you just pick like the 10 best shots out of each of these segments and put them together into like one main complete segment, and it should still not be much longer than 4 or 5 minutes.
Well, start with 5 shots and you end up with 10.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, if you start with 10, you end up with 20. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but that's Harald. That's something we struggle with as well. It's not something that that's very natural and normal, because of course with the stuff that you have filmed underwater, you have a special connection to all that shots, which is not the same to everyone else watching the film, and that's why it's even more important to be very brutal on the selection of the clips that you want to have in your final films. But maybe that's something that you can try on the next one. Try to do individual smaller segments and then go back and pick like the best shots out of each of those segments and make like a highlight trailer, a highlight clip that way. Because that way you can kind of come around the whole issue of storytelling, which wasn't really present in the film that we saw. It was a sort of a accumulation of the shots and the experiences that you had throughout your safari in the Maldives, but it wasn't really a story. So maybe you can get around this issue by dividing it and doing like a highlight reel by picking the best shots, or you start thinking more about a storyline that you want to put into your video by including some shots topside before you get into the water, maybe some stuff on the boat. And I know you had a shot of getting into the water, but I don't think it was enough to make for a story. So yeah, that's just a bit of information there to think about. Nothing that needs to be done, but something that you can think about for future films that you create.
Yeah, try out and see
exactly
where it goes.
Anything else that you've written down?
I have one thing,
Please.
creative thing, because we all know the problem. You go in the water, it happens with a big system, it happens with small systems, and you mess up your white balance. I don't know, you can't get the colors right, whatever it is. And especially with the sharks, it's a very good idea just to switch to black and white. Especially if you go like in the segments you just said, you go for little segments. If you go for the shark segment, you see, my colors are off, I don't get it right. Use black and white, because it works pretty well with the big animals and no tiny little pieces moving around, just one big animal, or maybe like 2 or 3, whatever. But like, and it works quite well with a majestic and how you say, impressive movement of a shark. It works quite well with black and white.
Nice.
but it's just a creative idea.
I
Yeah.
like that. Cool.
But yeah, that's actually it.
That's actually it. Okay. Well, glad that you added that to the discussion here. I think that's a very valuable input there. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I've got all my points ticked off as well. So let me sum it up here quickly for you, Harald. We really enjoyed the way you compose your images and also the stability of your images. Also, one thing that I didn't mention before, but I did enjoy, was the use of slow motion. You used it a couple of times with the sharks. I really enjoyed that. I think that was a very wise choice to include that slow motion segments and sections in there. Things that you can work on for your next underwater film is the length, definitely. So try to either compress your film to be shorter or just use individual segments and don't export it as a complete film, but as individual segments that can that will work definitely a lot better in terms of keeping the attention of the viewers, and you'll have more material to share for a longer period of time rather than just posting that stuff once. Think about using accessories to help you create better shots, like we mentioned the red filter or the wide angle conversion lens. So you can really use your system to its full potential by just adding some minor accessories to it and making it more powerful that way. And lastly, think about the storytelling element. Whether you want to include that or not isn't obviously entirely up to you. But if you want to keep your film a little longer, I would definitely, it's even more important to have a storyline in there. The shorter your film is, the less important the storyline is. The longer it is, the more important it's going to be to have some sort of a storyline that goes through the entire film and helps your audience stay with the film and keep their attention. Excellent. So this was actually a really good example that showed us how capable such a system with your smartphone and a diaphragm housing and a diaphragm system can be to capture your underwater adventures. And also how easily you can upgrade from the base system to a system that can use that smartphone or the capabilities of the smartphone to its full potential. Now, at this stage, I also want to say thank you to our sponsor of the series and this video here today, which happens to be diaphragm. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting this series and our work that we do here. As part of the sponsorship, diaphragm is offering everyone a 6% discount, additional discount on any purchases you guys want to make from the diaphragm store. So if you got the taste now with filming with your smartphone underwater, you can get the smartphone housing with a 6% discount by using the code down in the, or not the code, it's the link down in the video description below. The code is embedded in there and will be deducted straight at the checkout automatically. Also, if you already use the diaphragm system and you might want to get some accessories, the discount is also available for the accessories. Basically anything that you can find on the diaphragm store is the discount applies to all that. I also want to mention our brand new diaphragm course, Mastering Your Diaphragm C-Touch 4 Max. If you are someone using a diaphragm system and want to learn how to use it really to its full potential, we can highly recommend this course. The first feedbacks that we've received from students going through the course have been great. So I'll put a link down in the video description as well, so you can go and check out the course there. And well, if you want to improve the way how you work with your smartphone and the diaphragm system underwater, I can highly recommend signing up for this course. That's about it. I've been talking a lot. How about you say something?
I just want to say, like always, but I will do that repetitively. Well, guys, if you want us to review one of your footage, one of your films, of course, then please send us an email to contact@matthiaslebo.com. Put the link to your video in the email, and short description like Harald did, the camera used, maybe the housing, the dive site, stuff like that, which is interesting for us and interesting for you guys watching the review. Yeah, right now I think we have like from 9 to 12 month wait time, depending a little bit on how many special videos and subscribers we get for our YouTube membership.
Exactly.
Talking about the YouTube membership, that is one way to skip the line, and I cannot explain it. I just know there is a button called Become a Member. The rest is up to you.
Well, that's really all you need to know. If you want to skip the line and have your video reviewed right away, then just sign up for the YouTube membership. The membership plan is called Underwater Filmmaker. By doing that, your submission will be prioritized, and we'll watch it right away, and it will be reviewed and published here on the channel within a couple of weeks rather than within 9 to 12 months. So that's a way how you can get around it. But if you find waiting for your turn, you can also just submit your video this way, and we will watch it when we get to that video. Right, so I think that's about it for today's video. Yep. Thank you so much, guys, for sticking with us. As always, we will put Harald's or the link to Harald's video and his YouTube channel down in the video description below, so you can go and check out his other content. Thanks for your time. Enjoy capturing all your amazing underwater adventures. I've definitely been talking too much, and we look forward to seeing you back here on the channel for the next review next Thursday. Take care and have a great week.
Bye-bye.